This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. My name is Kweta Belis. Thanks for joining us today. Now the news making the headlines. On the local scene, IACMP launches the official Nigerian Top 10 Gospel Music Chart, November edition. Nigeria's Peter Arotiba emerges overall best in WAS. From the foreign scene, impeachment inquiry, Trump promoted discredited Ukraine theory. On business news, federal government begins negotiations for Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail project. And on sports, Joshua afraid to lose again. Bayern to appoint Pochettino in January. The details of that news comes right after the break. You're welcome. Now the news on the local scene. IMCMP launches the official Nigerian Top 10 Gospel Music Chart, November edition. The International Association of Christian Media Practitioners, IACMP, the unified body for all gospel media practitioners in Nigeria, has launched its Gospel Music Top 10 chart, tagged the Nigerian Gospel Music Top 10 chart. The chart is poised to become the most credible gospel music chart in Nigeria, with the executives of the IMCMP sitting on the panel. These are persons from premium gospel media platforms in Nigeria who are stakeholders in the Nigerian gospel music sector. They know the three spots. Now on the list of the chart, the first 10, on the number 1 we have Na Your Way by Nosa. Number 2 we have Breathe by Dunsin Onyekon. Number 3 we have Toya by Tim Godfrey featuring Israel Houston. On 4th position it's Worship You by Tolu Wanime featuring Onos. Songs of Angels by Judy K comes at number 5, and Yada's Beyond Me comes at number 6. Taris Mera Owili comes number 7, and Borecom from Mercy Chinwo comes number 8. Number 9 we have Done Me Well by Priye Odede, and number 10 we have Mighty God by Samsung. Still on local news, new tunes from Joshua Ejoreya, Too Good and Toby Your Love. Exceptional worship leader Reverend Joshua Ejoreya returns with his powerful worship tune Too Good featuring Bridget Asekpa. Reverend Joshua is a seasoned worship leader, and this is evident in his intensity of his songs. He pours out his heart and soul in every bit of recording, as this new song Too Good is not an exception. Some of the songs to his credit are Eze, Na You Be God, Overflow, Mega God, and lots more. Toby's Your Love, heard of this newly released album, Lifted, the US-based gospel music singer Toby serenades fans with a new sound, Your Love. It's an on-tempo tune bound to elicit some joyful dance steps while reassuring the listeners of God's unconditional love. Accompanied by a scintillating music video, Your Love is a change of pace from Toby's usual sound. With this song, he taps into his love for Afropop, which will take many by surprise. The colorful new visual were shot and directed by award-winning Oluyinka Davids of iFocus Pictures in New Jersey, United States of America. Earlier this year in May, Toby concluded his UK tour, followed by the 2019 edition of his annual unscripted concert, which held on the 6th of July in New Jersey, and also welcomed his latest album, Lifted, available today on digital platforms. Now, still from the local scene, Nigeria's Peter Arotiba emerges overall best in WAS. An 18-year-old Nigerian, Peter Arotiba from Kogi State, has been awarded the National Distinction and Merit Award by the West Africa Examination Council for emerging overall best student in the 2018 examinations. Arotiba, who is currently studying medicine and surgery at the University of Ibadan, graduated from the Nigerian Air Force Secondary School, Ikeja, Lagos State. He was recognized alongside two others at the opening of the 57th annual meeting of the Nigeria's National Committee of WAEC in Abuja on Thursday. The news agency of Nigeria reports that Arotiba has obtained distinction in all the 8 subjects offered in the 2018 West African Secondary School Certificate Examination. Speaking with journalists after the award presentation, Arotiba said that achieving success was a function of so many factors, the chief of which was God's grace and hard work. Meanwhile, Olu Adenikpekun, head of National Office WAEC, said the NNC was set up to the highest policy-making organ of the council, which ensured that policies were formulated in the best interest of the council. Olu said that the committee was also made to effect positive changes in the education sector of the country. Now, lastly, from the local scene, UK rejects death penalty for hate speech. The United Nations and the United Kingdom have opposed the death penalty clause in the proposed National Committee for the Prohibition of Hate Speech bill introduced by Senate Deputy Chief Whip Sabi Abdullahi. The UN described the death penalty as barbaric, noting that its inclusion in the bill was unacceptable. According to the bill, any person who violates the law shall be liable to life imprisonment, and where the act caused any loss of life, the person shall be punished by death by hanging. But the spokesman of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Mr. Olusola Macaulay, in a telephone interview with our correspondent on Thursday, said the global body will not support the bill, noting that a UNESCO advocacy group, Media and Information Literacy Coalition, would soon meet the National Assembly over the proposed legislation. Macaulay said also in the UN would lobby the federal government on the legislation, adding that what was needed is public enlightenment and education about hate speech, and not a law stipulating the death penalty for violators. The UN agency said most Nigerians were ignorant of the issues relating to media and information literacy, noting that a harsh law was not the solution to the challenge. Now, coming up next is news from the foreign scene. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Once again, we are at it together. The hallmark of amazing wonders. All things are made possible in these events.
Shout Jesus!
Challenges are met with the stiffest resistance.
You don't serve a dead God!
Momentum is gathering. This is what makes us thrive. This is what makes us stand.
Jacob had prophecy, Esau had only anger.
Week on week and month on month, and anticipation becomes second to a heartbeat. It is always an encounter. It is Amazing Grace 2019, swimming in glory. Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman. Amazing Grace starts 4 through 6 December 2019. You can watch a live transmission only on Celebration TV.
Welcome back. It's news from the foreign scene. Impeachment inquiry. Trump promoted discredited Ukraine theory. U.S. President Donald Trump disregarded senior advisors and pushed a false theory that Ukraine meddled in the 2016 elections. An ex-White House aide has told the impeachment inquiry. Fiona Hill said the president has instead listened to the view of his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Ms. Hill called the claim about Ukraine a fiction narrative. The inquiry is assessing if Mr. Trump withheld aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate a political rival. It is illegal in the U.S. to seek foreign help to gain electoral advantage. Mr. Trump denies any wrongdoing. According to a discredited theory, it was Ukrainians or individuals with Ukrainian connection who interfered in the 2016 vote rather than Russia. Now, still on the foreign scene, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, defiant in face of coup. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has defiantly vowed to hold on to power after being charged with bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in connection with 3 separate cases. He condemned the charges as a coup attempt against him. I will not let the lie triumph, he said during a defiant speech. Mr. Benjamin, is alleged to have accepted gifts from wealthy businessmen and dispensed favors to try to get more positive press coverage. I will continue to lead the country according to the letter of the law, he added. During a 15-minute tirade, Mr. Benjamin accused the judiciary, police and others of plotting against him with political motivated allegations. In this strange process, the investigators weren't after the truth, they were after me, he said, accusing investigators of extorting witnesses to lie. Now on business news, federal government begins negotiations for Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail project. The details of that news will come after the break.
And I have an invitation.
Welcome back on business news. Federal government begins negotiations for Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail project. The federal government has started negotiations for the commencement of the construction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri rail line. The Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, has said. He said the ongoing negotiations were between Nigeria and the Chinese government for the projects that will stretch from Rivers to Borno State. The rail line, according to Amechi, will go through several states including Abia, Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Benue, Nasarawa, Rivers, Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, and Yobe. The minister also stated that the federal government will continue its negotiations with Russia for the commencement of the Lagos-Calabar rail line project. Amechi was quoted in a statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Transport in Abuja on Thursday. The minister said that the rail projects required a lot of money, adding that the government had planned the projects in a way that all the regions in Nigeria will be captured. According to the minister, the country now operates a total of over 600 kilometers of functional rail lines, adding that the government will continue to expand the country's rail sector. Now, still on business news, Disco's NEC raises panel to review ownership structure. The National Economic Council on Thursday revolved to review the status of the ownership structure of power distribution companies in the country. The NEC meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The review will soon be done by an ad hoc committee chaired by Governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai. Governors representing the 6 geopolitical zones on the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company will serve on the review committee. The governor of Imo State, Mr. Emeka Idehioha, who spoke on the resolutions of NEC, added that the National Council on Privatization and Bureau of Public Procurement will serve on the committee. Idehioha also said NEC was briefed on the status of balance in the excess crude account and the 3 other accounts by Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Ahmed Idris. NEC resolved to invest additional $250 million in the NSIA. It also approved a panel to look into the investment of a portion of the pension fund in the NSIA with possible implementation of PENCOM. The committee will include the finance minister, the CBN governor, and the NSIA managing director. The committee will be chaired by El-Rufai. Now on sports news, Joshua afraid to lose again. The details of that news comes right after the break.
One mic, one stage,
one night. The new generation.
Instruments of worship, a channel to the Father. We must gather
Because
we are grateful.
Jubilee Music and Art Fest.
No chains are holding me. It's who I choose to be.
J-Ma,
Triumphant Sisters, we will be there.
I am Marvel Jones, International Music Director. This December, Jubilee Music and Art Festival.
Welcome back now on to sports news. Joshua afraid to lose again. Anthony Joshua says he will not be happy with his legacy in boxing if he fails to become a world champion again. The 30-year-old Briton lost 3 of his 4 heavyweight belts to Andy Ruiz Jr. in June, and the pair would fight again on the 7th of December in Saudi Arabia. Joshua said that he knows the issues that led to the shock loss and explained how he has crucially funded better sparring for the rematch. Joshua flies to Saudi Arabia on Saturday, and some of his team arrived already before the weekend to ensure facilities are in place for his training to continue. The former IBF, WBA and WBO champion says in the aftermath of his 7th round stoppage loss at Madison Square Garden, the first of his career, he quickly returned to training to work on trial and error aspects of his craft and things he wanted to try without impinging on his defined 12-week training camp. He also focused on being conditioned to begin sparring instantly in his camp rather than wait until 6 or 7 weeks out from the Diria fight, and says refining his boxing skills has now become a major focus in his boxing mix. Now, still on sports news, Milan offers Zlatan 6 million euros. The ball is in Zlatan Ibrahimovic's court as Milan reportedly offered a 6-month deal with an option to extend the contract for an additional year worth a total of 6 million euros. The 38-year-old is set to leave MLS club Los Angeles Galaxy in December, and a return to Milan looks very likely after the reports on established contract between the player and club respectively. Now, it's reported up to the former Sweden international to make his choice, and Gazzetta dello Sport claimed that Milan has offered to pay the superstar 6 million euros if he stays on for 18 months. It's previously been suggested that Ibrahimovic would want 1 million euro per month, but Milan took prepared to offer him just one third of that. The initial deal offered by sporting director Zonomir Boban to the player's agent Mino Raiola is set to be a 6-month contract. Over the phone, Zlatan has told Boban that he will decide on his future within a few weeks. Milan are back in Serie A action this weekend when Napoli come to visit and need to respond from a slow start to the season, leaving them 14th in the league after 12 games. And now lastly on the sports news, Bayern to appoint Pochettino in January. Bayern Munich will reportedly appoint Mauricio Pochettino as the club's permanent coach over the January transfer window. The Argentine, who spent 5 years at Tottenham Hotspur, was sacked by the North London club on Wednesday following a poor start to the 2019-2020 campaign. It was announced soon after that Jose Mourinho had become the new Spur boss, with the Portuguese taking his first training session on Wednesday afternoon. According to AS, Pochettino's removal has piqued the interest of Bayern, who viewed the manager as a top target. Bayern are on to the search for a new permanent boss after the club dispensed with Niko Kovac earlier this month. The Bundesliga champions have already confirmed that interim coach Hansi Flick will remain in charge at the Allianz Arena until Christmas at least. Now, before the recap of the news headlines, let us see the weekend fixtures. right, that's the size of the news for Celebration Television News Desk. And if you're just joining us, here's a recap of the news making the headlines. On the local scene, IACMP launches the official Nigerian Top 10 Gospel Music Chart November edition. Nigeria's Peter Arotiba emerges overall best in WAS. From the foreign scene, impeachment inquiry, Trump promoted discredited Ukraine theory. On business news, federal government begins negotiations for Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail project. And on sports, Joshua afraid to lose a game and Bayern to appoint Pochettino in January. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Celebration TV. On Instagram, we are My Celebration TV. On Twitter, we are at My Celebration TV. And on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. Thanks for watching the news on Celebration Television News Desk. My name is Kweta Belis, and you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross of people.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
One mic. One stage.
One night. The new generation.
Instruments of worship. A channel.